Admiral Chen's voice carried the kind of deadly calm that made even hardened veterans wish they were anywhere else in the galaxy. The Kaloid ambassador's tentacles twitched nervously. We neutralized a potential military threat within our sovereign space. A hospital ship? Chen's words fell like ice chips. You neutralized the HMHS Nightingale, a clearly marked, internationally recognized hospital ship carrying 3,000 patients, including civilians from 12 different species, including your own. The ambassador fidgeted. Our intelligence suggested. Your intelligence, Chen interrupted, was about as reliable as a chocolate teapot in a supernova. The Nightingale's transponder was broadcasting on all frequencies. Its hull was painted with regulation white and red crosses visible from orbit. It had filed all proper flight plans and permits. Hell, you had 72 of your own citizens aboard receiving treatment for Relian fever. The ambassador's skin shifted to a mottled gray-green, the Kalud equivalent of breaking into a cold sweat. We may have acted hastily. Chen's laugh could have frozen helium. Humanity spent centuries arguing about the ethics of war, the Geneva Conventions, the Outer Worlds Treaty, the Mars Accords. We actually managed to get most of the galaxy to agree on some basic rules of engagement. Pretty impressive for a bunch of primitive bipeds, wouldn't you say? The ambassador remained silent, which was probably the smartest thing they'd done all day. And you know what the really interesting part is? Chen continued, examining his manicured nails. Throughout all those discussions, there was always one constant. You don't attack medical personnel. You don't target hospitals. And you absolutely do not blow up clearly marked hospital ships carrying thousands of helpless patients. He looked up, dark eyes glittering. Would you like to know why? The ambassador's translator crackled with static as they stammered. Our high command wishes to express deepest reg. It's not because we're nice, Chen cut in. Though we try to be. It's not because we're squeamish about violence. Trust me, we wrote the book on that. It's because even the most bloodthirsty warmonger in human history understood one simple fact. If you make medics fair game, nobody gets medical care, including your own people. He stood, straightening his immaculate uniform. But you know what? That's not even the main reason anymore. The main reason is that we've spent the last few centuries trying very, very hard to be better than our ancestors, to rise above our baser instincts, to prove that humanity could be more than just clever apes with guns. Chen's smile was not pleasant. And you just gave us the perfect excuse to stop trying. The first sign that the Kaloid High Command had made a terrible mistake came 3 hours later, when every human ship in their space simultaneously vanished from sensors. Not through any obvious cloaking technology or sensor jamming, they simply winked out of existence between one sweep and the next. The second sign came 2 hours after that, when their most heavily fortified military installation, Deep Space Fortress Immutable, ceased all communications. When the rescue fleet arrived, they found the station intact but completely empty. No signs of battle damage, no bodies. Just 8,000 Kaloid personnel gone without a trace, leaving half-finished meals and still warm beds behind. The third sign was when their orbital defense grid started broadcasting "Never Gonna Give You Up" on all frequencies. This was particularly concerning as none of their computer systems had any record of the song being added to their databases. No one could figure out how to make it stop. By the time the fourth sign appeared, all their military AI simultaneously developing a crippling addiction to cat videos, the Kaloid leadership was beginning to suspect they had miscalculated. 3 months later, in a bar on Nueva Mars, a junior Kaloid diplomat was drowning their sorrows when a human sat down next to them. "Rough day?" the human asked, signaling the bartender. The diplomat's tentacles drooped. "You could say that. We just finished implementing the last of the surrender terms. Do you know how hard it is to reprogram an entire military network to play La Macarena every time someone tries to access weapons controls? Couldn't you just, not try to access weapons controls? We're a warrior species. Combat readiness drills are culturally mandatory." The diplomat slumped further. "Do you know how many warriors we lost to dance-related injuries last month?" The human tried not very successfully to hide their grin. "That does sound rough. But look on the bright side. At least you learned an important lesson about attacking medical facilities." "Oh, we learned several lessons." The diplomat knocked back their drink. "Like how humans have way too much time on their hands, and that whoever invented glitter should be tried for war crimes. Hey, you got off easy. You should have seen what we did to the Visek when they tried to claim Jupiter as their sovereign space. The diplomat straightened, eye stalks swiveling with interest. What did you do? The human grinned. Let's just say their ruling council still breaks out into spontaneous interpretive dance whenever someone says the word moist. In the aftermath of the hospital ship incidenter, as some called it, that time humanity weaponized musical theater their galaxy, learned some crucial lessons. Don't attack medical facilities. Humans have a terrifyingly nuanced understanding of psychological warfare. There are far worse things than being defeated in honorable combat, like having your entire battle fleet's control systems replaced with Tamagotchis that need constant attention, or they won't let you fire. As for Admiral Chen, he retired shortly after the incident to pursue other interests. He now runs a consulting firm specializing in innovative conflict resolution strategies, which mostly involves teaching other species how to be just annoying enough to avoid actual warfare.